Hey YouTube, there is 1 week left until the new season of GBL. So let's look at some Great League teams in Pokemon. Again, the if you haven't played Great League this season, a little late to the game, but the meta has not changed pretty much at all since the start of the season, right? So you see like Quagsire with Aquatail got buffed this season with the Aquatail. Shadow Fraligator with the Shadow Claw got buffed. Skarmy with the Steel Wing is up there. And then Shadow Glade with the Psycho Cut. The Psycho Cut got boosted. Otherwise, it's a lot of the same. Again, Registeel's ranked number 1. It's not number 1. Like, it's so overranked. Not with everything. Not with all the Mud Boys and Annihilate everywhere. No way Registeel's number 1. But yeah, Annihilate, Gligar, Lickitung, Quagsire, Swampert, Skarmory. Like, this is very much your meta. Unfortunately, I think like the meta is very. I say it's the most open it's been. It's also the most limited it's been in a long time because, again, you can very well run stuff down in like the 40 plus rank areas. So like, Shadow Dragonair, Jellicent, Poliwrath, Trevenant, all Umbreon, Defense Deoxys, like all very useful Pokemon, and on the right teams, Charjabug 61 will work on the right teams. Unfortunately, the meta is very much defined as Annihilate, Gligar, Lickitung, a Mudboy like Quagsire, mostly Whiscash, and Skarmory as your main flyer. Other people are using Mantine or Mandibuzz because Mandibuzz is actually very bulky and strong. Like, that is unfortunately the meta. I guess some of my teams that I've used over the past like week and a half here, not week and a half, over the whole season. And you're gonna see a lot of that. It's unfortunate, right? So like, and this is one of the first teams I'm showcasing because I'm showcasing like it's Swampert, Sableye, Skarmory. I'm showcasing that because it's one of the oldest teams in the GBL, right? This is a team that people would use in like season 1 of GBL. Replace Swampert with Whiscash, and you have a team that is used throughout GBL. Now, some people have replaced Sableye with other save swaps. Like, Sableye is not the main save swap anymore. You can substitute with Lickitung. You can substitute with Annihilate. You can substitute with Feraligatr. Feraligatr would make you double weak to grass, so maybe not Feraligatr, but otherwise, like the thought process of a balanced team with a save swap and that balance being Skarmory and a Mudboy is unfortunately everywhere. And there's not much you can do it. So you either have 2 options. You run it. You run the same combo, the same core, because it is a very strong core. And the reason it's so strong is just because there's not many core breakers at all for those 2. And it is because Quagsire, Swampert, Whiscash only have 1 weakness, grass. And Skarmory double resist the grass. Skarmory weak to electric. Mudboy resists electric, right? So there's very few things that can core break those 2. There's a lot of things that can do like neutral, and this is where stuff like Annihilate or Lickitung come into play, because even Lickitung with the licks and resisted body slam do well against Skarmory. But Annihilate as a counter user, and what else is a good save swap in this one? Feraligatr resisting the Steel Wing and hitting neutral against a Mudboy, and then Mudboys like Aquatails and Scald resisted on Feraligatr. Like, those are the core breakers that you want to look at if you want to try and beat this core. This team, so when I started putting teams together, I started trying to think like, what are Pokemon that I don't see around as much that could deal with the majority of the meta? And that's the thing, like, you can't, unless you're running if you want to run 3 Pokemon that can just counter that core that I just mentioned, go for it. But this was one where it's kind of a balanced team to beat that core, but with a Pokemon that I think can also beat a lot of other things. So Charm, Ninetales. And Charmers, Wigglytuff seems to be the go-to Charmer now. And I think it's the go-to Charmer now over Ninetales because I think the main reason is because of that half normal typing. because this as a fairy, half ice, you pick up rock weakness, which is a few of those. Normal and ice both neutralize the fighting weak. So you now take neutral from fighting on both, so that's not too big of an issue. But like, not that there's a ton of fire, but like, there is a decent okay amount of Skeldurge around, stuff like that, right? So plus I think Wiggly with that normal typing, because there are a lot of ghost users, right? There's the Lickitung with the ghost licks. There's Sableye as a safe swap. There's Feraligatr with Shadow Claw. So there's a lot of things that the normal typing is actually doing pretty well with in the meta. So you can use Wiggly, or you can use Ninetales. Those are really the only two like charmers I would use in this meta right now, quite honestly. And then Lickitung is your safe swap, and then Lantern to kind of deal with the steals that you're gonna have problem with. Again, fire you're gonna have problem with in the back there. Again, team sort of bulk. I think this was one: Medi, Lantern, Dugong. At this point in this season of GBL, I used Medi because I just wanted to test it. I don't think there's a reason to use Medi over Annihilape. I do think Annihilape is just that strong. I put out a video saying that I would buff Pokemon to go after Annihilape. Home Slice commented on the video saying that Annihilape is perfectly balanced. We'll agree to disagree here. There is nothing intrinsic about Annihilape as being like overpowered based on the stat products and the moveset, right? Because the moveset is very similar to Medi, right? Medi has counter, Ice Punch, and Dynamic Punch, and Annihilape you can use counter, Ice Punch, or Night Slash, and Shadow Ball. So both hard-hitting stab second moves, both sort of bait first moves with a counter, and Medi has the way better stat product that you're looking at for Great League. What Annihilape has is that weird fighting ghost typing, and it's so freaking unique. And because you like neutralize some of the things, so like Ghost is weak to dark, but like the fighting resistance, so you neutralize that there, which is the same with Medi with the psychic. And like your weakness is Ghost, which you can also hit super effective against. You can hit super effective against other ghosts with your Shadow Ball. So it's a kind of and Night Slash if you run Night Slash. So it's kind of a very unique Pokemon that really gets by based on its typing alone. I mean, like, again, good moveset, decent stat product overall too. So it's very unique Pokemon in this meta right now. Lantern's one that I use just because Skarmories and Dugongs and Mantines are everywhere. And speaking about Dugong, pretty good safe swap in this meta that can, again, you want to talk about going after that Whiscash Skarmory core. Dugong is a decent breaker to that. Of course, the third everyone uses is Annihilape, which you will do bad against. You might as well just call this team all buffed team. I mean, Annihilape isn't buffed, but I just went over why it's so strong. But then Skarmory with Steel Wing, and then Feraligatr with Shadow Claw. Both of these huge improvements this season. Really kind of wall each other. Again, it's not the same as a Mudboy safe swap, but it's pretty darn close to a Mudboy safe swap. You do pick up a double electric weakness. Again, there are Lanterns. There's not a ton of other electric Pokemon in this meta, so you don't need to worry about that too much. Whiscash, Gligar, Umbreon. Again, I'm just looking at these again. It's almost very frustrating to look at these teams that I've used, and I'm showcasing these teams because they're so strong, and they're so strong because they're so freaking meta. Right? Shadow Gligar, super safe. Whiscash, super safe. Umbreon, super safe and bulky. They basically cover each other, right? You have the grass weakness in Whiscash. Gligar will deal with that. You have the water weakness that like Whiscash and Umbreon kind of combo that. Like, it just, they're just strong Pokemon, right? So this one was a little more off the board. With Charjabug and Gallade, like Gligar is very safe. Gallade, it's so funny because in this video that I did for Gallade, I said I keep forgetting how strong Gallade can be. And with, again, I don't even have a Shadow, but like if you have a Shadow Gallade, you're like one-shotting like a ton of stuff, right? Leaf Blade's obviously can one-shot all the water Pokemon. Close combat is going to do a ton of damage to almost anything else. That's not like just a pure flyer or like stuff that resists fighting. Even the stuff that resists fighting, it's still like close combat really friggin' hurts. It is so glassy. So you need to pair it with bulky Pokemon. Charge Bug is one that I used in the Toronto Regionals. Toronto Regionals, that's what I got. That's what I'm wearing right now. That's very bulky. And can kind of do okay against the core. I'm going to play Great League for the rest of the week. I think I'm going to start with Charge Bug. I really think it's strong against that trio core there because you resist Annihilate's counter. You are super effective against Skarmory. And even against Whiscash, it's not a terrible matchup because although Volt Switch is single resisted, X-Scissor is neutral. So you can really combo those three and you're very bulky. And again, I always said there's like Dugongs in here and there's Mantines and stuff like that. And Mandibuzz. So I think Charge Bug is very strong. I'm going to use it on my first team. I just need to, if you're going to use it, you need an answer to like Carbank, like a Rock Thrower, Fire. Those are the types of things that you need. So Gligar is kind of fit the bill. Glade kind of fits the bill. If you want to be more safe and stupid, Whiscash is an answer to that, right? If you're looking for a partner there. So I may go something like Charge Bug, Whiscash plus a third. I'll have to think about that a bit more. Again, I'm not going to spend much time on this team because it's basically the modified Skarmory team. Whiscash, Sableye, Togedemaru. Instead of a Steel Flyer, you have a Steel Electric. Again, you'll resist the grass because of that. It's not as pure as a safe because Skarmory is obviously going to deal with the grass a lot better than Togedemaru is, but I like Togedemaru because I know how to use it and dominate with it. Did I just repeat this team? If I didn't repeat this team, I'm showing you. I've got two teams that I used this last week in Catch Cup. And Catch Cup was basically Open Great League. So I didn't actually go back and look at whether they repeat my previous teams that I used earlier this season. This is very similar to what I would use earlier in the season. And that's why I kind of grinded with that. And same sort of concept here, right? This is exactly the same. So not surprised that I'm team building the same and not surprised that these teams that I use for Catch Cup are very similar to those that I used in the Open Great League. And that's exactly why Catch Cup was essentially Open Great League, because it was. There's like 3 Pokemon that maybe weren't around this season you couldn't catch, but everything else you could catch. So it's very safe like combo to use. Actually, this one I didn't use. I think this is an older one, but this for sure this isn't one that I use. I can just tell by the IVs. This one I didn't have a Sableye or a Mantine. So that's probably an earlier one. Anyways, that is it. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let me actually just put in, I'm going to tell you my first team right now, because I really think Charjabug and Whiscash are going to do really well. I'm sure there's some combo breakers. Grass, no, because you'll resist grass with Charjabug. Maybe some sort of like, yeah, you pretty much cover your stuff down the board. There's some stuff that still beats you, like Lickitung and Annihilate, but there's not like a pure Trevenant. You're not seeing many Trevenants, so I'm not worried about that. But so the saying cover it with like a Mandibuzz if you want that. Flyer, I don't like that because then you're double weak to Rock. Could use Lickitung. Could just use Lickitung as my safe swap. Charjabug, Lickitung, Whiscash. Very bulky. Mostly covers everything you need. And you might combo the rest of it. Coverage is C, bulk B, AA for assisting. Okay, I might set for something like that and then I'll adjust. So that's my plan going into turnover this afternoon, is something like Charjabug, Whiscash, Lickitung. If you guys have any other thoughts of like teams that you think would work, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll do something like that to start and then we'll go from there. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.